Okay, welcome back to the Other 40s Fitness Podcast. My name's Tristan Lowe and my guest today is pro golfer Alec Bradley. How you doing, Alec?
Yeah, morning Tristan, really well.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, thanks for coming into our show. All right, I'm holding up a foam roller. Alec's holding up a, what is that? What kind of golf club is that?
That is a 60-degree lob wedge, so a rusty one, a bit like my game.
Yeah, okay,
so, yeah. So that's something that is used occasionally.
Let's have a look at this then. So what we've got here is an old rusty golf club. You've had some use out of this?
Yes.
And this is a Callaway?
It's an old favourite. It's probably, sporadically used, but it's a club when used correctly can be successful, yeah.
All right, so, okay, thanks for that.
Thank you.
All right, so what we're going to talk about today is what a golf pro does to stay strong, fit and healthy. Okay, now, full transparency, I've known Alec for a couple of years. I was once a member at the golf club where you was a pro, and was you, and your dad was there as well. Yeah,
that's right, yeah, so kind of our connections was kind of through Blankley Golf Club, and had many happy years at the club over a period of 30 years pretty much, and came out of there this summer, fancied a bit of a change, and so it's a good moment for me to reassess and reset really.
Great.
And hopefully look at still being in the golf industry and helping golfers really. Yeah, that's really what we do, to be fair, yeah. What's
the difference, Alec? I mean, I played golf for about 19, 20 years, albeit like probably most of the population poorly.
You've got a good swing, Tris.
I only got to 27 handicap though. I'd miss a putt or I'd miss a little, and I learned it's the short game, isn't it? Because I used to line up at 6'4", thinking I'm going to lever this, and I learned quickly that's not going to work, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's huge. I mean, you see a lot of golfers that would practice their tee shots a lot and would, spend a lot of time trying to hit it a long way.
Yeah.
But really, the key for low scoring is short game. So whether it's chipping, putting, a lot of the investment side of that game would really help you reduce your handicap over the years.
But golfers know though that the short game is what brings your score down, or what gives you. And yet it's still hard it was hard for me because I came from a basketball background, and before that martial arts. I went from martial arts to basketball to golf. It's a big difference. And martial arts and basketball are aggressive sports. So I had to change that aggression and turn it into learning. And I found it hard when I knew the short game, putting, chipping and whatnot, was to bring the game down with the finesse shots and the thinking. But still, what I wanted to do was hit it as far as I could. Even though I knew that, driving for show, putting for dough, whatever, I'd be missing 2-foot putts. I found golf to be a educational, fascinating. It's a lot more athletic than I would give it. Than I thought. I thought, it's just for basically overweight old men, but it's not. The best players in the world are athletes, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think again the game's changed in many ways over the years with respect to being an athlete.
Yeah.
You probably look at somebody, a pioneer like Tiger Woods, was probably the first one that really took it on to the next kind of stage, and then after that point, the rest followed really.
Yeah.
Before then, the golfers, Woosen and Faldo, Lazabel, fit guys, but probably not the athletes as they are today.
Yeah.
So it's a huge investment for their games to hit the ball a long way, mentally as well. There's a lot of training with that side.
Yeah.
Obviously the diet goes a long way.
Yeah.
Playing four rounds over 4 days, so huge amount of investment.
Talk me through how. Well, let's start from the top. Okay, when did you start learning to play golf?
I started from a very young age. I was 6 or 7, from influence from my dad. We just kind of had a go growing up, and then progressed from there. I think you had a bit of a break away from golf, and then I went into football for a while, and then went back into golf on summer holidays when I was 11 or 12, and it just kind of, it sucks you in.
Yeah.
It takes over.
It does, yeah.
You want the bug, you want to play every single day.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic sport. You have to invest a lot of time into it to get better, get good at it, for sure.
So what happened? Did you get to a certain age and then reach a certain handicap? When did you know that you were going to be a good golfer?
Yeah. You get to your stages. I was probably 15, 16. I thought, okay, this is something I want to pursue as a career.
Yeah.
And you kind of signed with the PGA to do a training course, like a degree equivalent 3-year course. And thankfully I was got through that with good marks, and then you progress into becoming a better player over the years. I mean, you get to your levels, and then you slot into really where you belong. It's probably a bit like a football pyramid really, with your conferences and your Champions League football. Golf is similar in many respects, and then you think to yourself, okay, you're playing with good players that are kind of better than you, and you reassess a little bit. You think, okay, I'm really enjoying being in the industry.
Yeah.
I might try and focus on coaching as well at this point, and that's where you kind of your career path goes a little bit diverts away from just playing golf.
Yeah. Sorry, I imagine though, coaching is not the same as playing around the golf with your friends or your fellow high level golfers. To take someone from, no pun intended, to take someone from scratch, you know, and teach them who's never played before.
Yeah.
I remember when I had my first lesson. I think I was in my first golf lesson was with a guy, Craig Morris in Retford, because I had a property opposite there. And he knew I'd come from basketball and switched to golf, so he used to explain things to me in an athletic way, in a biomechanical way, rather than he used different terminology that he might use for someone else. And you must have to adapt how someone, I mean, you know, a golf ball is going to be the same size no matter where you go.
Yeah.
And if a pin's 100 yards away, it's 100 yards whether your client likes it or not. So when you're teaching, what's the big difference between teaching and playing then?
The big difference is that you have to really get to know the individual, for me, to see how they respond and how they react the best way possible for them to absorb your instruction. So I quickly kind of analysed to find out, you know, what their capabilities are. You go through a screening process at the start, ask them some questions, and then from there you get to do a few drills and find out what their skill set is. Yeah. For me, I get such a buzz out of seeing a beginner that would start with one lesson, and after 6 lessons they're hitting the ball, they've got a really good idea of what they're trying to do with their posture and their setup and the swing, and they can play golf. Yeah, you know, they get a good idea. Yeah, there is a long journey after that point, but you've given them the best start possible to play golf. Yeah, you really have, because it's a really hard sport and you need to know the basics when you initially start. Yeah,
and time consuming as well, you know. I found it to be a real leveller. I had a client, a personal training client, years ago. He was a member of a course in Lincolnshire, and he was a businessman. He still is, quite successful as well. And he'd been playing golf for 30 years. I think his whole family played, and he took me out a couple of times playing golf with him. And he said to me once, you'll find all kinds of characters at golf clubs. He said, those that have failed in business the biggest, are the worst person at the club. He told me that once. He goes, and there's always that guy, or the man or woman at a club, who is essentially there for more than just playing a game of golf. They think it's their own place and they want to spoil it for everyone else. They don't want new members there. And I learned from that. And he said to me, those that have failed the biggest in business, that behaviour will manifest itself at a golf club. And actually, I've seen that myself a couple of times. But what I found is that someone's personality, someone's lifestyle, behaviour, whatever, starting with myself, you've got to park that behaviour, that personality, that thing you normally are when you enter the golf club, when you enter a golf court. It's such a leveller. You could have a world-class boxer who can't get to 28 handicap. You could have a world-class. There's a lot of NBA basketballers play golf, and they find it fascinating. I think Steph Curry, probably the greatest shooter in modern day basketball. I think it's a 3 handicap or something like that. It's interesting that sport levels everyone. It humbles people overnight.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I've seen good, strong, physically fit people can't hit a golf ball. No. They can't get that rotation. They can't hit this little thing that's like that. I've played golf with a little old lady before, and every shot was landed on the fairway. And by the 17th, 18th hole, I'm concentrating because I think she's going to beat me. We played match play, and she weighed like 7 stone wet through because every shot was on the fairway. But she's knocking it 70 yards, 100 yards. I'm trying to leather it. When did you get to play off scratch?
Well, again, you officially back in those days, you get to 3 or 4, and then you kind of you sign with the PGA, the contract that way. The handicap system, which in my opinion was better back in those days, was more of an accurate figure of where people were. And then after that point, you progressively improve as a golfer with events and pro-ams and Midland events that you're playing. Yeah.
If you're playing against any pros that I would have heard of.
There's a few over the years. Quite a few to sort of mention within the podcast today, but I think you quickly pick up the sense that when you're playing against really top players, again, you kind of understand that if you want to progress, you've got to invest probably more and more time to get to that level, really. And it's incredible. I mean, there are some fantastic players now. The game's changed again for me now in the last sort of 5 to 10 years with just power. You know, if you're not hitting it a long way. The young lads on tour are just huge in distance-wise, and you know the big guys, athletes, and they've got that 1%. They really have, like a lot of elite sports
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a football or basketball, they've just got it.
They've got those small margins,
absolutely,
but consistent with it as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, they're humble.
Yeah.
They've got everything, you know, they're nice people, most of them are, and you've got to have it to get to the very top.
I was at the PGA Wentworth, BMW, about, I think it was 5-6 years ago, and I met in person Tony Finau.
Yeah.
He's one of my favourite players, and I'm here as well.
Yeah.
Again, and we had a quick chat, and he's a big lad. I think he's at least 6'3", maybe.
Yeah,
you know, well built. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
I saw Rory McIlroy. He was stood as close as you are to me now. It was at the that was at the BMW.
Yeah.
A little fella, but muscular.
Yeah.
And I saw him hit the ball at the first tee at Wentworth, and that was like a missile. And it stopped where he wanted it to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked at him and thought, if you didn't know that he was a pro golfer, essentially a world famous pro athlete, and he just walked past you in the street, you would never know, you know, that guy is a world class athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking of which, tell me something. When you're training, you need strength, flexibility, mobility, balance, proprioception, spatial awareness.
Absolutely, all of the above.
What do you do for yourself then as a golf pro?
For me, I just kind of a lot of what you mentioned, functional compound lifts over the years. You know, you tailor it to how you can kind of manage yourself.
Yeah.
You know, strong legs, strong back, chest.
Yeah.
Cardio, running as well. I do a lot of that.
I see you. Yeah, you've been running for years.
Yeah, that's right. That's good for other areas as well. You know, mentally, that's for me. That's a good reset.
What's your preferred distance for running?
Probably 10Ks, 10 miles, half marathons. I did one the other week, but it's just a good challenge. I think you know, after the event, you feel great. Yeah. And
what's your time for 10K?
10K. PB's 41, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Half marathon was 1:38 a couple of years ago. So yeah, you know, it's if you want to get back to that point, you invest again.
41 for 10K.
Yeah,
it's not shabby.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah.
I had one of Lincolnshire's elite runners, husband and wife. I had Matt Bowser in. I've known Matt for years, and he did it in 30 minutes once.
Incredible.
Literally sprinting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you can do 10K, your best is 41 minutes. To knock 10 minutes off that, someone's actually sprinting. Okay, right. When you mentioned, Alec, you mentioned compound lifts. Okay, that's in my industry now. And for those of you who don't know, a compound lift is when you get multi joints moving. So an example would be a deadlift, or a squat, or an overhead press. Why would a pro golfer or an amateur golfer go through compound lifts? And tell me why.
Well, again, functionally and strength-wise, you know, with the way that the golf swing is made and produced. I always look at it for control with the speed that you're trying to harness at impact, certainly. So that's probably where the game has gone in terms of trying to, you know, give yourself more longevity within the game, whether it's an amateur golfer that plays with his friends at the weekend or a budding, you know, kind of European tour golfer. So, yeah, that alone, you know, your investments that you make within your body for longevity within your golf, but certainly to make your swing more consistent under pressure, stronger, you know, preventing injuries as well at points. Absolutely,
That, I think that's a really good call. That the injury prevention side of it. In my line of work as a trainer and a sports massage therapist, we often have golfers come into our centre, and normally it's lower back, sometimes elbows. They get what we call lateral or medial epicondylitis, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. They'll get too much compressive load because they're tilting over at the address posture, so the spine goes into, the hips goes into flexion, and then they go into rotation. And I've explained to golfers, not from a golfing term, but from a physiological aspect, you should make your body strong and fit to play golf, rather than playing golf to get fit. Now, I know that if you come from a sedentary position and you start playing golf, you're going to get fitter because you're walking, you're in the fresh air, you're on uneven surfaces. But for a member who's playing once or twice a week for 10, 15 years, they should do some form of remedial or functional or compound strength training to not just complement the game, but enable them to keep playing for another 15 years.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
What's the biggest reason in your line of work as a golf pro people stop playing golf?
For me, it's probably time. I would see a lot of that. You know, golf is time. It's so, you know, 4 or 5 hours in a round of golf. A lot of families maybe haven't got that. So there's a lot of initiatives out there to shorten the game time. So if you're at a 9-hole course, or quick golf, play golf, where it's, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, and you're back.
It's all right, that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally,
but when you
yeah.
talk about getting half an hour to a golf club, warming up, 4 hours to go around if you're in like a 4-ball maybe.
Yeah,
Is it
totally,
4 hours maybe?
And you see a lot of guys, they're under pressure, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
to get back to their family.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah.
Which it's a balance, you know, we've all got that balance between, you know, leisure time and family life. But that's an opportunity when you see a lot of families that will come together. We see a lot over the years when the husband and wife and maybe the kids play.
It's excellent.
Fantastic, you know, mindset, and you're all playing something together that you all enjoy.
Yeah. So time is it can be the winner when it comes to golf. I'm going to go back to the sport in about a year and a half from now. I've got one more overseas trek and climb to do, and then that's it. My body won't take that anymore, not to the same degree. So I'll go back to golf. But I know when I go back to it, I'm going to feel it's going to be alien again to me now. I know what I want to do, but I've trained my body for the last 3.5, 4 years on moving forward, up and down, you know, on uneven surfaces, in trekking and climbing, you know, completely different movement. So when I go back to golf, standing from a sedentary position to, you know, I'll know what I want, but I know it's not going to feel the same. So I'll be coming to you for some tips again and lessons.
Fantastic, Trish, yeah.
I'll
just add in there, Trish, with the last bit, I think to go with time is the difficulty side of golf as well. You know, that plays a huge part.
Yeah, it's complex.
If people don't see instant success, they invest in a lot of equipment and they think, right, they're going to get good at this, and it's a disappointment when they don't get to the levels that they think they should do. So that's really where we come in, and we help with coaching to make it as easy as possible.
Who's your ideal client? Who's your ideal student?
You would probably, again, great question. Probably a junior. Okay. To be honest, so really, you know, a younger, keen junior that you can mould the right way. You know, they pick it up very quickly. The visual, they mimic exceptionally well, and you give them 1 or 2 little pointers to work at, and then you just see them flourish very quickly.
Junior. Okay, give us an age bracket.
Probably 7 to 9 to 10.
That's young, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Boys or girls? Which one?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
They've got equal parity. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Boys will be stronger. 9 times out of 10.
You would probably say that. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But I'm teaching some really good girls, or not at the minute. I have done in the past where you know they're really gone on to be very
flexible.
Players.
Yeah, flexible as well. Yeah. I've seen a couple of women pro golfers hit the ball, and again they've always got that flexibility. In my line of work, if I took 2 clients, let's say they were both 35 years of age, 35-year-old man, 35-year-old woman, same height, same weight, do the same job, more often than not, the woman's going to have be more physically flexible. The guy's going to be stronger. Yeah, 9 times out of 10. Yeah. So I think, well, does that equate to children between the ages of 7 and 9? Possibly. What if they were 17 and 19? Between 17 and 19, boys and girls.
Yeah, then you would see, you know, a significant, you know, difference there. I would say, certainly, yeah.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Give me an example then. The opposite, worst case scenario. A client that you don't name names, obviously, but a client that you either dread or you think, okay, it's just another one of those that they're just never going to be able to hit a golf ball the way that you'd like them to.
Well, I would say that everyone can play. Yeah. Firstly, it's, you know, to some level. It depends on how receptive the client is to take on board the information. Yeah. So it's down to the individual and how much they want to play golf. Yeah. I think when you try and help someone, or someone has a coaching session and you sense that there's barriers that maybe come along, not all the time, but occasionally, and you think to yourself, well, come on, you know, let's keep it simple. You're not going to get it right first time. You need to be patient. Yeah. Patience is huge, you know, factor for golf. Yeah. And yeah, you would just give them smaller goals to just kind of work at and then to progress. Yeah. But I think if you come from another sporting background and you don't get golf straight away, that can be really frustrating. So whether it's a younger guy that's finished playing football, and, you know, hung his boots, that wants to play golf because his friend's been playing for the last 10 years, and then he can't do it initially. Yeah. You see a lot of frustration there. So you've got to try and nurture that and say, come on, guys, you know, it takes a long time.
And it's still a game.
It is a game.
And a game.
It is, yeah.
And to some degree,
it's meant to be enjoyable.
Yeah. I've worked with a lot of personal training, sports massage clients who play golf, and they've all got the gear, and I've seen all the gear, and I thought, oh crikey, I couldn't afford one of them, but I mean, some real good stuff. Yeah. You know, like everything's made to measure. They've gone to your Ping, your TaylorMade, your Mizuno. They've got all the nice stuff, really nice, you know, battery operated trolleys and whatnot. All the attire And I think because I know them, I've trained them in their fitness, and I thought, but you're no athlete. So perhaps somewhere in the middle, someone who's got natural athletic tendencies can also be happy to take instruction, soak it up like a youngster, park their ego, and then think it's not life or death, it's a game / sport.
Yeah, so going back to the question you asked before, probably somebody, a service personnel, you know, kind of RAF.
Okay.
I've found them very, very good over the years to just take on board instruction.
Right.
And to think, okay, wow. And then after a few weeks, you see them progress. They kind of go away. They do their homework really well. They come back again. Yeah. So maybe that's their mindset.
Yeah.
You know, they've had
and
that
a system of learning and taking instruction.
Totally, yeah. And it's an absolute pleasure to coach. Yeah. And you see them progress. That's not everyone, but you know, that's probably a trend that I would notice.
Okay. Something I've always thought about. What's the difference between a club pro, teaching pro, and the pros on the PGA Tour, or is there the difference? Is there the same gap between you and I? I only got to 27 handicap, okay, which I know it's a high handicap, and again, always my short game. Is there that difference between you and who's the best players in the world now, Scotty Scheffler or someone like that?
Yeah, so absolutely, you know, the gap is huge, really. I mean, I was looking yesterday at Bryson DeChambeau's ball speed or club head speed. I think his top is 221 mph. Mine is 167, I think, 170. Yeah. If you really are having a speed session. Yeah. So it's a different league. Yeah. Really.
If I was to, if you took someone that doesn't know golf and they watched you and you walked up and on the first tee at the Masters or at the PGA Tour, would they be able to see a difference? Forget the score. Would they see, following you for 18 holes, a difference between you and Bryson DeChambeau?
Hopefully not, but yes, they would. Yeah,
because you're still doing that.
Yeah, they would probably see the speed difference. Yeah. Technically, I'd like to think it's pretty good what I do, but it's a different league. Really. Yeah. I'm humble enough to you know to kind of say that, and you get to a point in your life when you think I'm on 48 now, getting on a little bit, just catching you up maybe. Yeah. But you kind of think to yourself, yeah, okay, it is what it is. When you're kind of younger and you think, you know, you're going to win the Open Championship, which is probably everyone's dream at some point. Yeah.
Is the Open? You mean the British Open?
Yeah.
That's called British Open.
That's it, yeah.
Is the Open the pinnacle of golf?
I would say, for me it is, yeah.
Why do I think the Masters is then? What is that?
I think that's the media, Trist. I think that's, I think that's. I mean, that's a great one to watch. Yeah. Start of the year.
Same venue as well.
Same venue every year. It looks pristine.
That's right. What a see.
Yeah, totally. But for me, it's the Open Championship. It's more of a challenge. Right. You know, different days, different conditions, different venues.
Okay. If you were to tee up now at the next Open and the weather was good weather, bright sunny day, all 4 days, what would you go around in?
Well, if
Birkdale or
if I broke 80 every day, Tris, or 75, 76, you'd be happy with
so
that. So
even if you were something like 8 to 10 over par, you'd be happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. If I was playing regularly and really, you jump back into playing golf, but realistically.
So you would par quite a few of the holes at Augusta?
You'd like to, well, I don't know about Augusta, but...
Because the green...
Yeah, exactly. But you're humble. For me, I just really get a buzz out of helping people. Yeah. Looking after their experiences at club level, helping them hit a white golf ball or yellow one now, even, or maybe mixed colour, and just helping them with the golf, making them, so when they drive home, they've enjoyed their experience, or they've had a good lesson, they've learnt something new, but they've got to practice it. I always say that if they don't practice it, then they come back again in a few weeks. It's a bit like a client with you. If you give them all the instruction, they go home and have a pizza every single night, or whatever it is, a nutritional side. But you try and guide them as well as you can, but a lot of it is on the client.
What do you do for flexibility, mobility, anything like that?
Yeah, again, there's traditional stretches that you see golfers kind of partake on the first tee. That's again an untapped realm really for a lot of club golfers. Flexing their hips or their back or hamstrings. I think it's an untapped kind of moment for golfers. Certainly club golfers to consider that more. Again, injury prevention. You see a lot of guys
keep people playing.
Absolutely, they haven't been for a few weeks because they hurt the back, or generally. So that's huge. I think. But again, it's education. I think for the club golfer and for us to put that out there.
You stretch after running.
Not as much as I should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, great question. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And you're quite a good runner from what
Yeah,
I
not
see.
too bad. Yeah.
But why don't a lot of runners, I've met enough, do that 10, 15, 20 minutes of static stretching after?
Yeah.
They might warm up with a little bit of hamstring kicks and rolling, but why don't they do that when they're fit enough to do it and they know the benefits of it? Why not? You don't go through a 10, 15 minute cool down stretch after.
No, I think is it time? That's an excuse. We all know we should do it.
Yeah.
We should do it, totally. So it's being probably undisciplined. I think some guys are maybe desperate to get it on Strava.
Yeah, okay.
To look at their times, I don't know, but life gets in the way a little bit.
Yeah.
But I go to a running club now locally, and that's really good for warming up and warming down.
Yeah.
So that's something as a group. If there's quite a few of you doing it, then you feel accountable that you're gonna.
Because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, warm down the right way. Yeah.
We had a 61-year-old retired GP. He was in last night, twice in this week. I've known him for years, and he did the Amsterdam Marathon on Sunday.
Wow.
He did it in 4 hours 12 minutes, I think.
That's good.
He's 61, nearly 62.
That's brilliant.
But he's not just physically tight. I've known muscular tight. He's almost what we call hypertonic. He's so tight, he's watertight, and yet he could run 26 point something miles. So his cardiovascular fitness for a man of his age is fantastic. His tissue tolerance in the hips, the knees, ankles, back, ligaments, tendons is great. His ability to take in transport and utilise oxygen properly is great, and yet it's so tight, he's watertight. And again, because doesn't want to stretch. And when you mentioned about time getting in the way, prioritising, putting your run on Strava, I come back to it. The reason that you don't stretch the way you should do is because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You want to do something else.
Yeah.
That's more fun. Because the run, we're called Good Condition Fitness and Remedial Centre. The remedial part of what we do keeps us doing it. I don't know anyone that stops running, period, because last week they ran on Tuesday and got out of breath. Because they're not out of breath an hour later, let alone the following week, they stop running because they get injured.
Yeah.
And it's normally foot injuries, knee injuries or back injuries. I stopped playing basketball from knee injuries and often thought I'm going to go back to it. My body would break down so quickly. Forget the shot, forget where the ball goes in the net, the body would break down trying to play at what I was into my early 30s. Can a golfer, a teaching pro, stop playing golf, stop playing rounds? Could you go back to it 3 years later and hit the ball the same way?
You could do. I'm trying to do. I've hit a lot of shots over the summer, really, and you get back to some kind of level. It takes time.
Yeah,
it really does. I mean, maybe a little bit of speed's gone. Admit that. Maybe I'm trying to get that back.
Right.
And make your body strong again by hitting shots.
Yeah.
So when you become more confident by hitting golf shots, that's a great way to improve that.
Yeah.
But it's not about pure strength and speed at times. You've got the other side of the game, which is your knowledge.
Yeah.
Your certain shorter game shots, your bunker shots, your chip in, your putt in, all that side is.
It's a lot involved.
Is knowledge, yeah.
And then of course you've got the full weather. You've got the weather situation over here.
Yeah.
Because I often think, well, if it rains over a weekend, I thought years ago I've been waiting for the weekend to play golf, and then if it rains on a Sunday, proper rain. Crikey, the cold never bothered me, but if it's pouring with rain on the first tee, you think I'm going to be drenched by the tee, So golfers who do office jobs and they wait all week to go and play in England, I think you should go and live in Spain or Florida. Maybe not Florida at the moment though, But
no, exactly.
Would you play off now then?
Well, again, officially, you don't really have a handicap as such, but I would dread to think really it'd be higher than it would be normally at the minute.
But still single figures.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I would like to say that realistically, but you kind of pitch it and go lower where you can.
Yeah.
Indoor facility wise, going back to the weather, there a lot of people maybe have access to simulators.
Yeah.
Now that's another way that they.
You've got that now, yeah.
Back. No, I haven't myself, but I've got a friend that's kind of got a simulator, and it's pretty impressive. So you can play any courses,
right,
and custom fit options as well.
Yeah.
With clubs and other bits, but there's lots of that out there which people can obviously still play on a screen, but it's not the same as getting out on a golf course. Yeah.
Course management. When someone comes to you for a lesson, what is the most common reason? Is it because they want to tee off the short game, the putting or chipping? If people come to us, they normally come for weight management, body fat reduction. Initially for personal training, there's 8 times out of 10 it's weight and or body fat reduction, and all that comes with it. Someone comes to you, is it always, can I lever it off the tee, or Alec, I can't hit a putt for my life, you know, and you take them on the putting green?
Yeah, mostly it's probably down to, you know, people say, well, I want to become more consistent. You ask them maybe what shape of shot they hit, and they say straight. Okay. I kind of go, wow, then you should be on the European tour, hitting straight. So you kind of make people aware that most golfers hit a certain shape. Mostly it tends to be left to right.
Yeah.
So you're trying to correct the one that goes way right.
Yeah.
So slice.
That was me then. Yeah, slice or a fade.
Yeah. So you fix that, you get them on board, and then you start to give them a long-term plan to improve the other parts of the game.
Yeah.
So the scoring, the putting, the hybrids, and instill confidence. Really, that's what you're trying to do in a simple way. Yeah, I think that YouTube is a great tool. But for golfers, it can really confuse a lot of people. Yeah, so for a coach, it's great for us. Yeah. You know, we got a lot of clients, and when I was coaching, that come along and they're very confused.
Yeah.
So you simplify things a lot, and give them a plan to go and practice, so that they can achieve their results. But I keep saying it does take a long time.
Yeah.
To get to better.
All right. Okay. Right. You've looked at you do your strength movements, you do your cardiovascular fitness. Push comes to shove, you might do a little of the odd stretch once you're the new running club.
Yeah.
Let's talk about nutrition. Okay, you got a good clean diet?
Yeah. I mean, recently quite a few of my friends recognised that I had 12 months off alcohol, which is great for me.
Yeah.
That's something, I wasn't a big drinker, but I just thought, okay, I gave it a few months and I thought I'm going to keep this going, and found the benefits were huge.
Yeah.
For all sports and for life, really. Yeah. So you kind of get
12 months abstinence, complete.
Yeah,
abstinence.
totally. Yeah,
that's good.
In fact, it wasn't quite 12 months. It was probably 10 months.
Okay.
I nearly got to a year, but yeah, that was a good moment for me. You know, you're out of the crowd and you're kind of doing your own thing.
As in the 19th hole at the club?
Yeah, but just generally in life, I think, you know, you can still socialise, and I would probably say, well, I'm driving, I'll have a zero lager. And sometimes the reaction you get from people was like, well, are you okay? Are you a raving alcoholic? No, I'm not. I'm just giving drink a bit of a miss. So that was really positive. And then just trying to eat clean most of the time. Yes, don't get me wrong, you have your treats. For my boys, that I've got 2 boys, 11 and 9, so I'll give them a little bit of a role model-esque type of way to live your life, but at the same time recognise that if you have a McDonald's, it's a treat. It's not something that you have every single week.
Your boys play golf?
Yeah, they're just getting into it. They're more football based at the moment, but they've got a good idea of what to do with the golf swing. Of course, they don't listen to their dad.
Oh yeah, a golf pro. Listen to his dad.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be interesting. Trying to help them, but no, I think everyone has choices to make every single day with what you put into your vehicle, your body, which we've only got one of. So it's key that even more the data and the research and information out there with sugars that you put into your body at certain times, how you react differently, it is huge. So I think, to not be obsessive with it, but just to be mindful that you know what you can put in your body can really affect good or bad.
It does. Yeah, I can attest to that. You know, your nutrition part of sports and fitness training is possibly there's a discussion for it's more important than picking up the golf club, picking up the dumbbell. When we have a client can come to see us for an hour once a week or twice a week, but they're not with us for 23 hours in that day, and for the other 6 or 7 days in the week. And they can think, well, I've done my strength training, done my flexibility, I've had a massage, I'm good to have what I want now. And I'll say to them, the harder part is when you walk out the door, you know, to resist the temptation to excess alcohol. Obviously smoking, people know now it's just a no-no, but generally excess alcohol, excess sugar, excess processed foods, or even not getting enough, they have those, right? And they don't eat a lot of those, but skipping meals because they want to be a pound lighter next week and whatnot, and we have to educate them into. And I find that I like a treat, I like a bit of chocolate, once in a while, winter, pint of Guinness or something, summer, a gin and tonic. But generally though, 95% of the time, good nutrition. And so when we have a treat, it is a treat, and it doesn't make a big change to our body. But if it becomes the norm, it does. You know, our health is controlled by the gut. Ordinarily, 70% of our immune system is controlled by the gut. Our thought process as well. Okay, all right, so we've talked about that. Off topic now. I know you're an Arsenal fan, as I am.
I am a Gooner, yes.
And that in itself is a task to You know, being an Arsenal fan it's not a full-time job, but it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. What's your favourite sport apart from golf?
Yeah, you would probably say football, really.
Football, yeah.
Football
Okay.
would be the go-to.
Favourite movie of all time? Your go-to film?
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
Don't say Happy Gilmore. Surely, is it a golf movie?
No. You'd probably say something like Interstellar's quite good.
Whoa, one of my favourites.
That's very, thought-provoking.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite movies.
So that kind of makes you really consider all aspects of, are we in the Matrix or not,
Oh,
kind
okay.
of thing.
Yeah. Interstellar. Okay.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah.
You got your classics, Jaws.
Okay. Yeah.
Indiana Jones, my boys all like that.
Superb.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Yeah, proper stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
70s, 80s,
Yeah.
right up to the Interstellar. Okay. Movies, music. Who's your go-to album artist?
Okay, music. Right. Okay, so I'm really into my house music.
Okay.
So kind of array DJs.
Yeah.
Kind of enjoy going to one or two festivals last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So your kind of classical house DJs would be someone like Sasha.
Yeah.
Or Digweed.
Yeah.
That type of deep house music. Yeah.
Yeah. 1996, I was at Notting Hill Carnival and I shook hands with Roger Sanchez.
Wow.
Yeah, Roger Sanchez and Armand Van Helden, those kind of DJs at the time.
Yeah.
I worked for a record label when I was 25, and Paul Oakenfold was there. And Moneybags himself, but okay, so you're into like the Chicago, New York house, or
just kind of deeper house, and then kind of recently kind of breaks, or but
Gotcha.
the whole genre of the dance scene really.
Superb, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so movies, sport, music. Okay, if you weren't a golf pro, what would you be? You can wake up tomorrow morning, you've got another profession, another career.
I think I'd be a paramedic.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
just kind of helping people.
Yeah, I've trained two paramedics.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know anything about it?
Yeah. I've got sort of a friend that's a paramedic, and incredible.
A lot goes into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't just turn up and pick people up and put them in the back of that. They do a lot of study.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And they deal with a lot of trauma and tragedy as well.
Yeah.
I've trained two paramedics for years, and some of the stories I'd hear from them, I used to think, crikey, you're worth every penny you earn and then some. Okay, paramedic, yeah. I can sort of see you doing something like that. Okay, country. What country are you going to visit next? Where would you like to go on your bucket list?
I'd like to go to South America.
Okay,
yeah. Brazil.
Brazil, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's from South America, just above, or below, I should say. He's from Guyana, not French Guyana, Guyana. And anyone who comes from Guyana is from Georgetown. And of course, you've got Brazil, Suriname, and Guyana. So people that are from Guyana, if they're not into cricket, they used to follow Brazil football team. But you'd like to go to South America. Okay, I've not been to South America yet. All right, so, and finally, okay, you're 48 now.
48, yes.
You look well, sir. Okay,
yeah, thank you.
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I would see myself being settled, happy, healthy.
Yeah.
My boys are kind of progressing well. I invest a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Trying to show them the right way. But yeah, I'm really grateful of just being kind of basically happy, healthy. It sounds a bit kind of cheesy, but that's me really. I'm quite, simple.
Yeah.
Simple life, probably simple a bit as well. But yeah, just kind of just happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Really,
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a good mindset. I don't know. People when I get to know clients and we talk about different where do they see themselves a year, 5, 10 years from now. I've had people ask me that, and actually the truth is I actually don't know the answer. I don't know. If you was to ask me, be happy, healthy, that might be part of my mindset, but I probably wouldn't articulate it like that, because the answer is I actually don't know. I think it can be quite easy for us, general public, to say, oh, I'm going to be doing this when I'm 58. Well, okay, where's the proof? There is no proof. And I can tell you now, I'm 54 in 6 weeks' time. 48, to 58, it's going to go really quick for you, Alec. And there's a mathematical reason why it does as well, why our birthdays seem to come around quicker. And I think if you're in good shape now, and you look to be in good shape, between 48 and 58, you could have a fantastic decade as Alec the individual, Alec the golf pro, Alec the father. There's a lot. There's so many things for us to take into account.
Yeah.
And
I think that the pathway that we're all on, you kind of drawn along to that. I'm a big believer in that. I'm not religious, maybe a little bit spiritual, but you end up where you're meant to end up.
Yeah, interesting.
And you get pulled along, and you don't have any kind of power over that. You just end up in where you're meant to be.
Yeah,
I believe that. Yeah.
I came to Lincoln in 2010, and it was my intentions to provide a service as you do.
Yeah.
Meet some interesting people. Never be the smartest person in the room. You know, not the dumbest either, but certainly somewhere in between. And to build a good address book as well, and actually surround myself with people who know more than I do on different things that I would never know anything about. And by extension, I bet you must have had that as a golf pro as well.
A huge amount, yeah. You get to meet an array of different people, personalities, skill sets, and you know, recently a lot of people taught me a lot at the time at the club I was at, and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, so it's you get to meet some very, very humble, nice members. And
interesting folk.
Absolutely,
yeah. All right, well, okay, so, all right, now, so you're teaching elsewhere now, so where can our viewers, where can they find you now as a golf pro?
Officially kind of helping out at a golf centre just in Lincoln, and, you know, seeing how that goes in the interim. So kind of still looking at things further out, possibly, so it's kind of not official just yet, but we can kind of say that
watch this space.
Foot's in the door and watch this space, and you know, we're here to help golfers and guide and look after people. Kind of hit a little golf ball. You've got
a social media page.
Yes, I have.
What's it called?
Yes, it's called Alec PJ Golf Coach. So that's quite good for content. One or two good tips.
Excellent.
That might be relevant. Not too bad. It's quite, you know, getting new to the reels, but I quite enjoy showing and demonstrating one or two shots to see if somebody can help them. Really.
Okay, excellent. Well, you'll be seeing me in about a year and a half's time, and I'll come back to it, and I'll come with my tail between my legs, humble as anything, and I'll just say to myself, right, I can come back to this game now. You know, I went out of it for a period so I could concentrate on trekking and climbing, and then I'll go back to it because I do like the game. I'm constantly surrounded by golfers as well, so I'm always hearing stuff as well. But one thing I do miss is actually the golf course at certain times of the year. When the sun would come down in late summer, if I was playing like a 3 PM game or something, and the look of it, and also in winter, teeing up with a woolly hat on, and it's a bright, dry, crisp day, it's cold, I'm good with that, but you feel alive.
Yeah, totally. I think being out in nature, my time was always autumn, so you see the kind of the colours of the leaves changing on the trees. Maybe we'll get into that age just where we appreciate
outdoors.
I love it, but I agree with you there. There's certain aspects and times of the year are just beautiful. Whatever courses you play, whether it's somewhere Parkland or a links course on the coast, it's tremendous.
What's the best course or most memorable course you've played?
For me, the best course I've played was probably Valderrama in Spain.
Wow.
Yes, I played that 3 times over the years, many years ago, and that was just tremendous.
What's it cost to play a course around there?
I think on the day it was €250.
Oh, okay. For round of golf.
But it was, I was lucky enough to get on it for nothing. But the guys, but it was just tremendous.
Just to look at.
Absolutely stunning. You know, from start to finish.
Any top courses in England you've played?
Yeah, there's a few really good links golf courses on the west coast of Scotland.
Right.
Dundonald links, Barassi links. Yeah, there's a whole array collection.
Stunning to look at.
Amazing, And again, very, very humble links golf courses. And you get looked after up there.
It's great. Of course, excellent. All right then, so that's it. Alec is my first golf pro on my channel, and we've known each other for a few years and whatnot. And I worked with Alec's dad Graham years ago as well, and I can tell you from myself. Alec and his father Graham are good folk, good fellas, you know, fantastic golf pros, and can actually can handle all different types of personalities as well, you know, in the way that I have to myself as well. And if you want a good golf pro, a good instructor, Alec Bradley, based in Lincoln, and look him up and find him, and we'll touch base again soon, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Tristan,
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Who we got this weekend? Who Arsenal got this weekend? Liverpool.
Big game Sunday afternoon, so fingers crossed.
What do you reckon?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
Who to?
For obviously the Arsenal.
Check that. I think 2-0 to Liverpool. We'll find out, sir.
Okay,
Right, it's Tristan Lowe. The podcast is Over 40s Fitness. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcast. Until the next one, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Thank you.